I'm speaking in Arkansas a few years ago. I get to the engagement a little early. I pick up a newspaper. I go to a restaurant. I pick up a newspaper. I'm reading an article about Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson playing for the Yankees at that time. And the article basically said, Reggie, what do you want out of life? And he was talking about he wanted to make more money than anybody that's played for the Yankees. And he wants to hit more home runs than anybody that played for the Yankees. And I remember driving over to that engagement. And I'm talking to myself, and I said, what if all of a sudden somebody sticks a microphone in your face and they say, Coach Stallings, what do you want out of life? Without any preparation at all. How would you answer that? See, I've answered it publicly umpteen times. If you ask me what I want out of life, I will say when my children reach the age of 29, 30, 31, I want faithful Christian children. Hopefully raising faithful Christian children. Well, if you believe that, then see, what are you doing about it? It's one thing to just say that. It's something else to what are you going to do about it? I have no greater joy than to know that my children are walking in the truth. That just doesn't happen. Somewhere along the line, those of us that are parents have to be examples to our children. I hadn't intended on saying this, but when we think of examples, I know one of my daughters was going to a Christian college. And so it was a Saturday. And the husband was telling me this story. He said there was a knock on the front door, and my wife went to the doorbell, and there's the door, and there's one of your daughters, and she had made a pie. Miss So-and-so, I know that you're going to have a lot of company this weekend. It's homecoming weekend, and your husband had mentioned that you had a lot of company coming in, and I just thought I'd make this pie for you. Now the professor is telling me this story, and he said, don't you find that amazing that a student would be making a pie for a professor's wife? And I said, no, I don't find that amazing at all. And he said, well, how come? I said, because she's seen her mother do the same thing 1,000 times. See, somewhere along the line, we've got to do things for other people. And our children have got to see us do things for other people. I'm coaching for the Dallas Cowboys. We have 13 rookies that made our football team that year. We're sitting around the table trying to come up with a goal. The year the Dallas Cowboys had 13 rookies that made our team. You know what it was? We sat around that table for 2 days, and this is what we came up with. For everybody to have a genuine appreciation for the contribution that everybody made. We said, now when the year's over, if the offense appreciates the defense the offense, the player the coach the player. If that player has an appreciation for the trainer that keeps him on the field, or the equipment man that keeps him in good gear, what about the man that keeps the fields ready to? Just a genuine appreciation. Last game we lost that year was in the Super Bowl. You know how important it is just to have some appreciation, just some genuine appreciation for what people are trying to do. All of my coaching career, I've loved the fourth team player, the guy that just wasn't good enough to play, never missed a practice, never missed a meeting. First one down there to check the travel list. He just wanted to know that he was on the bus. You know, he just wanted something about just being on the bus. Knew he wasn't going to play, but just be on the bus. Want to run out on that field one time and hear him play the Aggie War Hymn, Yay, Alabama, Isa, Texas, or just want, but he wasn't good enough. But I'll tell you what he's good enough to do. He's good enough to get you ready to play. See, that's his contribution. I'm not going to play on Saturday, but I'm going to get you ready to play on Saturday. I wanted that guy that played on Saturday to have an appreciation for that guy that got him ready to play. And then all of a sudden, whether it's a church group or football team or family or what, all of a sudden you begin to have a little oneness. You sort of feel for each other. I love the fact that the people in Bastrop are in a bind, and the people in the Methodist churches in this area are doing something about it. Some of you probably went down there. Some of you raising some money. You're doing something about it. And so, see, what we're doing, we're sort of developing a little oneness. People used to ask me all the time, you coached at Alabama, who'd you appreciate at Alabama? I said, well, first of all, my secretary. She made my job easier. And then I love that lady that kept my building clean. Her name was Ben. I called her Charlie. She just sort of looked like Charlie to me. That building was spotless. You just can't imagine how much company I had, and the building was spotless. You know why? Because Charlie kept it that way. I used to tell our players, I said, if you could just perform at the same level as that lady does, it keeps our building clean. It's not a matter of whether or not we're going to win or not. It's how much are we going to win by. See, it's having some appreciation for somebody who has done something. You know, we need to teach our children. You know, there is a big difference in holiness and happiness. You know, the Bible says, unless you're holy, you won't see God. Now, I can figure that out. I'm not a Phi Beta Kappa, but I'm not an idiot either. It says that if you're not holy, now this day and time, it's happiness that's important. Bible says it's holiness that's important. You know how important it is to teach our children that the love of money is the root of all evil? The love of money. You know what? We got preachers around here to preach, and I'm not going to be preachy to you, but you know what the book of Ecclesiastes says? A man can do nothing better than enjoy his work. How many times do our children take jobs for the money or the prestige or go through life not ever like? Bible says enjoy your work, man. We don't teach our children to take jobs for the money. The love of money is the root of all evil. They need to hear that. They need to hear that evil companions corrupt good morals. Somewhere along the line, we got to see that our children run with good people, that they have good friends, that when we talk to them, we not only want to know what they're doing, but tell me some of the new friends you're making. Sir Isaac Newton said it this way: if it seems I can see further than most people, it's because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. See, it's something about having good friends. It's something about associating with good people. The Bible talks about it. No greater love than a man that would lay down his life for his friend. Now, you want to talk about what friendship is. Somebody that lays his life down for his friends. The love of money is the root of all evil. We need to teach our children that all things work for the good for those that love the Lord. Now, people, there's a difference now in saying the kicker is for those that love the Lord. You know, people say, well, things just don't work out for me. Well, just maybe you don't love the Lord, so you got to read the rest of it, see. Self-control. Conduct yourself in a worthy manner. You know, the Bible says that in Philippians. Conduct yourself in a worthy manner. Fear God and keep his commandments. Love God, for this is the greatest commandment. Our children need to hear that. They need to hear it from us as parents, as Bible school teachers, I just told you that the typical daddy spends 2.5 minutes a day with his child. Somebody's got to make a difference in their life. You know who it is? It's church people. I know I've had the privilege of talking to literally hundreds of people that have just found out that their child has something wrong with them. Born with Down syndrome, born with something. You know what I tell them? You need to be affiliated with some kind of church somewhere. Makes no difference to me what church it is. You know why? You know why I say that? Because church people care a little differently than the people who live right down the street. Here is somebody that's in a bind. I'm talking about in a bind, needs some help. You know who comes to the rescue? Church people. Just simple as that. Who makes the food and sends it over when somebody's sick? It's church people. Who's raising money for the people in Bastrop? It's church people. Who's raising money and sending it down to Tuscaloosa, where they had that tornado and 7,000 homes were destroyed? I'm going to tell you something a little spooky. That's a little spooky. The tornado hit Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I was 15 minutes behind the tornado. I mean, it was right over my head, and I was talking to the sheriff, and he told me to pull over and stop. And I was going to go down and do something to raise some money for the Rise program. Our players wanted to have a little reunion, but we didn't. A few weeks later, we had a work day. Now, I'm telling you, this is spooky. There is a church, a relatively small church, in a poor section of Tuscaloosa County. I mean poor section. Everybody lived in that area, blacks and whites and Hispanics and Asians and everybody. But there was a little church there, right in the middle, a little church that served that community. Now, that community was flat. Front of the church, behind the church, the side of the church, the side wasn't anything left standing. You know that church building didn't lose a shingle? Did not lose a shingle. Now, do you think that just happened? See, I don't think that just happened. I think the good Lord looked down there and said, that church is serving the people in that community. Let's just have that thing jump over it. That's what happened.